Hey y'all, let's make some convertible mittens. Hey y'all, I hope you're well. So today let's make these really neat convertible mittens fingerless gloves. This is a pretty easy tutorial, but it is a little long and I've tried to speed it up as I see fit throughout the video. But if you need to slow it down, here's a little quick video reminder on how to slow down a video on YouTube so that it can go the speed that you need it to go so that you can catch on. Two things here is I use two different types of crochet hooks. I use a 6mm and I also use a 5mm. That is optional for you, but you'll see throughout the tutorial when I found it necessary and helpful to use a smaller hook. Okay, stitch markers came in handy as well as a measuring tape and yarn needle. I used an elastic band. I'll show you how I incorporated that with the mittens as well. And then I used the Big Twist static yarn. It is a 5 bulk and I do have a full review on this yarn on my channel. Now, I already created one mitten, so this is what's left from the one mitten. So I'm going to kind of reach in here and find the colorway that kind of makes the mittens match up. You don't have to do that. That's just what I did here, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the cuff. You'll want to be comfortable doing a double crochet and a single crochet as well as a half double crochet, working in the back loop only to create this mitten here. And I will show you how to do those things here, okay? So go ahead and make yourself a slip knot and put that on your crochet hook. The first crochet hook size that I'm using is a 6mm. So you'll see me kind of switch out hooks throughout this project, mainly because of the way I was filming, but I use a 6mm to start the project, and that's pretty much what we're going to carry through. But I do use a smaller needle or hook size in some sections of the mitten, okay? Go ahead and make yourself a chain of 8, okay? And this is how we're going to start the cuff section. This is, once you have your chain of 8 completed, you're going to do single crochet stitches across that initial foundation chain. You have a total of 7 once you're all the way done, okay? And I'll stay on camera here for a while throughout the project, but I just want to get you started so that you understand the pattern. Okay, and again, being comfortable doing the single crochet, half double crochet, and the double crochet will help you a lot with this project. Once you get to the end of the initial row, see right here, you're going to chain 2 and then turn your work. Okay, so for this we're going to make like a rib. So the cuff is going to have that stretch to it. We're going to want to work in the back loop only. So what that is here, as you can see, there's like a V when you're creating a stitch. You're going to work in the back side of that V through this whole portion of the cuff, okay? So this is what we call back loop only. And so basically what you're going to do is that chain of 2 counts as your first single crochet stitch, and then in the back loop only you're going to do single crochet stitches. So across this row you're just going to do single crochet stitches in the back loop only. Again, I'm not going to stay on camera this whole time for this because this project does take a while to explain and I don't want to stay on camera when it's not necessary. But just follow along here, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to do 24 rows of this cuff. And I'm trying to see, on my website I will have what that measures to because I don't have it right here in front of me with my notes, but just do 24 rows. Okay, so that's what it should look like once you get your 24 rows completed. You're going to you're going to finish off that row, and then you're going to join the round by sewing it together. Now you can also slip stitch and just crochet down, but I have the hardest time doing that with on camera, so I'm just going to sew it down for you, okay? Using a yarn needle, which I didn't think I mentioned in the beginning. You will need a yarn needle if you're doing this part. So just sew down the raw edge of the cuff, creating a circle. See how that looks? That's what you want. Perfect. Okay, so here's where the smaller crochet hook comes in handy because you're going to be working in stitches that aren't really formed. They're kind of just at the raw edge. So what you're going to do is just reattach your yarn at the corner, and then you're going to do a round of single crochet stitches. So in this case I did 24. I had 24 rows, so I created 24 stitches along the raw edge. Chaining, once you attach the yarn, you'll chain 2 and then just start working your single crochet stitches. Okay, so basically what I did is I just tried to put 2 single crochet stitches in between the ribbing, and I hope that makes sense. But basically your goal is just to get 24 single crochet stitches around, because that's how many rows we created. And this yarn, I did a review on it. I do like the yarn. I love the way the color changes. However, working with a small crochet hook and this thicker yarn was a little bit fun. So just keep that in mind. Have patience if you want to use the same yarn, and especially if you're using a smaller crochet hook, because it doesn't fit nicely underneath the hook. So just keep that in mind. So just pause and keep working a single crochet, 24 stitches around. All right, this is what it should look like. Go ahead and slip stitch to join the round. And then I'm going to switch back to my 6mm crochet hook. Now the hook that I was using, it's part of the Susan Bates interchangeable hook series kit that I purchased. I like that better for this project. This Doller hook, which is a Hobby Lobby brand hook that I'm using right now, it's a little dull at the top. I found that the Susan Bates with that pointed head worked a lot better. I'm not saying you have to go get that hook, but I'm just saying it did work a lot better with this project. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am doing a round of double crochet stitches. Okay, so the way my pattern worked was I did 2 double crochet stitches, and then the next set of 2 double crochet stitches I did it in the back loop only. Okay, so that's the pattern: 2 double crochet stitches and then 2 double crochet stitches in the back loop only. You don't have to do it that way. If you want to just do straight double crochet stitches, go ahead and do that. I felt like the 2 in the back loop only gave it a little bit more stretch, and I like that for my pattern. Okay, so as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 in the back loop, and I'm doing 2 straight through the V, just normal double crochet stitches. And you're going to do that all the way around until you have 24 double crochet stitches created. And I will stay on camera for a minute just so that you can catch on to what we're doing here. Okay, just keep on working, and you're alternating again 2 double crochets and 2 double crochets in the back loop only. You're going to do this all the way until you get to round 5. So do round 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll come back and do the rest of the project. Okay, so here's what we have here. We've done our 5 rounds of double crochet stitches, and at this point we're going to do a quick pattern change. We're going to do a round of half double crochet stitches. So chain 2, or chain, what did I do? Chain 1, and then you're going to do a half double crochet stitch in that same space as your chain 1, which is what we've been doing. Okay guys, and then just do 1 round of half double crochet stitches for a total of 24 stitches. Okay, this is going to set up our pattern change so that we can do our thumb area and then continue on with our fingerless glove portion. So just keep on working. Okay, once you get all the way back around here, you're going to end up slip stitching and joining the round, and then we're going to do the thumb. Okay, so see here how the thumb looks. Let me show you how we get that done. Okay, so round 7, we're going to go around doing a half double crochet stitch in each stitch around. When you get to the 22nd stitch, you're going to end up doing, you're going to skip 2 stitches, chain 2, and then attaching to the beginning. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's going to leave a space for our thumb, the skipping 2 stitches. So you see here what I've got there. You're going to go all the way around doing a chain of 2, and then joining that chain of 2. So you're skipping over 2 stitches, and into that first stitch you're going to slip stitch to join the round, just like you've been doing before. See here? And that's going to create a space, and that is your thumb area. If you need your thumb area to be wider, skip 3 stitches, okay? If you need it to be smaller for some reason, skip 1 stitch, okay? Then in your round 8, you're going to go around half double crochets, and then when you get to the chain 2 space where your thumb is going to go, you're going to do half double crochets right on top of that area. And I think I show that to you on camera. Okay, so now we are working round 8. Okay, you're going to work right over that area right there. Okay, so that's stitch 21, and then you'll do stitch 22, 23, and 20. Well, I'm sorry, that was 22 that you did. So you do 23 and 24 right in that open space, and then you'll slip stitch to join the round. Okay, once you slip stitch to join the round, you're going to do a chain of 1, and then you're going to continue doing 2 rounds of half double crochet stitches, round 9 and 10. Okay, so I'm just slip stitching to join the round, and as you can see, again, because this crochet hook has a duller head, a more smoother head, it was a little bit fun working through the stitch. Okay, now we are moving on to our last 2 rows, and I'm going to go ahead and insert my stitch marker, because at this point we're going to just do a round of single crochet stitches. Single crochet stitches are a little bit harder for me to see where my round begins, and that's why I put my little stitch marker there. So at this point, round 11, we're just going to do a round of single crochet stitches. Okay, go all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Okay, now optional for round 12, if you don't want to add the elastic, you do not have to. I'm going to add the elastic because, again, I want this to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more forgiving if anybody else wanted to wear these gloves. Okay, so at this point I'm going to measure out my elastic. My elastic is 10 inches. All this will be in the pattern, guys, and see how it has that nice stretch there. That's what I wanted. I wanted to fit snugly around my fingertips area, and I think the elastic did exactly what I needed it to do. So I'm attaching the elastic just like you see here on the screen. I'm going to hold it down with one hand and crochet right over top of it with single crochet stitches. Again, this is optional step. If you don't want to add the elastic, just do 1 more row of single crochet stitches so that it comes up to a nice height on your fingers. Okay, and I'll stay on camera a little bit just so you can see how I get this elastic band secured. I do have a video on my channel that might go a little bit slower for you on how I attach elastic bands to crochet projects, and I'll be sure to link that in the description below if you have any questions about that. Alright, so you guys hopefully get the drift on how to do this round 12. Go ahead and continue working, and then the next step will be to create the mitten, the top portion of the glove. Once you're done, slip stitch to join the round. Okay, so what I've done is I'm going to start by making myself a magic circle, and honestly I feel like a magic circle is easier explained by just watching, so follow along with the screen here. Now if you're not comfortable doing a magic circle, do not worry. You can also do yourself a chain of 4 or 6 depending on how much space you need, and you would just slip stitch the 2 ends together to create a round, and then you could do your double crochet stitches into that. Okay, once you get your magic circle form, you are going to do a chain of 3, which is going to serve as your first double crochet stitch. So go ahead and do that, and we'll move forward. I'm going to move that tail out of the way. It's not necessary. At this point, after you have your magic circle completed, your first chain of 3 done, you're now going to put 7 double crochet stitches into that circle. So just kind of take your time, get it right. You're going to do 7 double crochet stitches into that circle, okay? If you liked the fingerless glove and you don't want to put the mitten on the top, you can stop, you know, before you get to this portion, and you're completely done. If you want to add this convertible option, then you want to finish doing it here, okay? All right, so once you have the total amount that you need, you can pull that little string, the beginning tail, and pull your work close. Guys, this yarn, again, check out that review because it gives you a little bit more insight on this yarn, but it is not a tightly woven thread, so be careful when you're pulling it together, pulling it, as you don't want it to split or tear, okay? Cozy yarn, great yarn, but there's just a little, it's a little bit different. Okay, so once you slip stitch to join your round, you're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do another round of double crochet stitches. We're increasing from 8 to 16. So in that same space as your chain of 1, you're going to do a double crochet stitch. Again, that Susan Bate hook is really nice for this project because I did struggle a bit working into the stitches, but it was doable. But I'm just telling you, yeah. So in the same space that you created that first double crochet, you're going to put another double crochet right in that space. Okay, so remember that chain of 1 did not count as a double crochet stitch. It was just kind of like a placeholder. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to do 2 double crochets in every stitch around, increasing your round from 8 to 16. Okay, so we're doing, this is our second round, this is an increase round, and then when we get to round 3, we're going to increase one more time. So just keep working 2 double crochets in each stitch around. Okay, go ahead and pause your work and just keep working until you get back to round 3. And guys, really, I just want to point out real quick, that hole does look really big, but again, that tail is easily, you pull it and it easily pulls together the center hole, okay? So at this point, we're just slip stitching this round 2 together so that we can get ready to start round 3, okay? All right, so round 3 is another increase round. This is our last increase round for this mitten. So what you'll do is you'll do a chain of 1. In that very first space, you're going to do a double crochet stitch. Okay. In the next stitch, this fun. This is fun. Okay, so go ahead and do your double crochet stitch, guys. All right, in the next stitch, you're going to do another double crochet stitch. Okay. Now in the following stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochet stitches in the same space. Okay, so in the next one there, you're going to do 2 double crochet stitches in the same space. So for the round 3 repeat, you're going to do 1 double crochet in one stitch, another double crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets in the same space. You're going to do that all the way around until you get 32 double crochet stitches, okay? So you see there? And I'm just going to get you started with this pattern, and then I'm going to let you work it, and then we're going to move into round 4. See how that looks? Really pretty. Okay, so just like before, we're going to slip stitch to join the round, and then we're going to get started on our round 4, and this is just a regular, we're going to change the pattern, but we're not doing any increases. So go ahead and make a chain of 1, and you're going to do a half double crochet stitch and each stitch around. Now, it does seem like we're doing a lot of switching and stitches and stuff like that, but it adds the texture, it adds the pattern to the project, so that's why we're doing it. So go ahead and do half double crochet stitches in each stitch around, and you're going to do that for round 4 and round 5. Okay, so just keep working until you get both of those rounds completed, and then I will show you how we're going to start round 6, which is decreasing what we've done and bringing everything together. Okay, and at this point too, remember, round 4 and round 5, your work should start curling up on itself. That is perfectly normal. Okay, so once we get to round 6, I'm just giving it a count. I want to make sure that we have 32 stitches, okay? So we're going to do what we call is a decrease round. The way that I'm doing this decrease is for beginners. It makes it easier. You're going to do 3 half double crochet stitches. So in that first space that you did your chain stitch, you're going to put a half double crochet stitch. In the next stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet stitch. And in the next stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet stitch. So that's 3. Then you're going to skip a stitch. And then you're going to do half double crochets 3 times in the next 3 stitches. That skip space you will not be able to tell. We're using a chunkier yarn. It's going to blend in just fine, so don't worry about that, okay? So just really quickly, so make sure you know the pattern for this round. You're going to do 3 half double crochet stitches in 3 stitches. You're going to skip a stitch, and then you're going to do 3 half double crochet stitches. So continue doing that all the way around, and this is going to take you down back to 24 stitches. So see how this is going to line up? Because we did 24 stitches in our fingerless glove portion, we're going to do 24 stitches to finish out the top portion. Okay, so I'll stay on camera just for a few more moments here just to make sure you get this decrease round, and then we'll move into finishing this up. And again, this too, guys, will start pulling together even more, so just keep that in mind. It's going to start coming together. So pause the video at this point, continue working until you get to 24 stitches. All right, you'll slip stitch to join this round just like we've been doing before, and it should start looking like a little baby hat. Okay, so round 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're just going to continue doing half double crochet stitches, 24 in each round until you get to round 11, okay? So just keep working. I don't think I stay on camera long here. But basically all you're doing is half double crochet stitches in each stitch around, okay? Okay, so just continue for more rounds, and we'll meet back here to do the round 11. So now we're here at round 11. Again, just like with the top portion of the fingerless glove portion, you have an option to do another elastic. I used another 10-inch elastic band. Again, this is just to make sure that it fits, the mitten part fits snugly around the fingerless portion of the glove. Optional, you do not have to do this. If you choose not to add the elastic, just do 24 stitches all the way around and as a single crochet. So I've attached the elastic band, and I'm going around 24 single crochet stitches in each stitch, and that's what I did to kind of, again, make this project one size fits most, okay? So optional, but this is what I did, okay? All right, so this is what it looks like. You want to go ahead and weave in all of your extra tails so that we can get everything stitched together. You now have 2 portions completed, and the last portion that we need to do is the thumb. Now, you can make the thumb and then attach it. I'm going to show you how to do the thumb directly to the gloves. Also, the thumb area is optional. I feel like since you're going to have everything covered as an option, I wanted the thumb to be covered. But if you don't want to cover your thumb, you don't have to, okay? Full disclaimer, for some reason when I was doing this, I kind of came out of frame for the thumb portion, but let me just explain to you because it's not complicated. You're going to attach the yarn. I went back to the smaller crochet hook. It was a lot easier working in the small area with a smaller crochet hook. So this is the 5mm. You attach the yarn, and I'm working in a spiral. So I'm not going to slip stitch to join any rounds. I'm literally just going to attach the yarn, and I'm going to go around. I'm doing 12 single crochet stitches in the first round, and I'm just going to keep crocheting in a circle. It's called a spiral. There is no slip stitching to join any rounds. The round is continuous, okay? Now, it was a little tight, but I kept working it around using that smaller crochet hook. Helps a lot. So as you start to build it up a little bit more, you'll see here, mine measured to be about 2.5 inches. So I'm going to work my thumb area till I get to about 2.5 inches. So as you can see here, So, and yours may vary, guys, so it's just up to you. Once you get to the top portion of your thumb, you've got it to the desired length. Let's talk about how we close it up. Okay, so you can use a yarn needle and just sew along the top edge, pull it tight, and then you'll have it closed. What I did though was I just did every other stitch. I did a single crochet stitch, I skipped a stitch, single crochet stitch, skipped a stitch, and I kept doing that until my thumb area closed. Okay, I then used the yarn needle to finish securing everything down. So completely up to you how you want to close it up. You can use a yarn needle, you can use the yarn and then just sew around the top edge. That works too. I just used my crochet hook and just cinched it up by skipping every other stitch. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. This is how it will look. The last thing right here I'm showing you is how much yarn we had about left over. So if you want to grab 3 skeins of yarn instead of 2, 3 skeins will allow you to make these gloves and a nice little hat. So that's something that you might want to think about if you want to have a nice little matching set. So we had quite a bit of yarn left. We only needed 1 and maybe like a 1/4 of another of the skeins, okay? Last things here is you want to make sure you decide right and left hand. That's very important when you're attaching the mitten portion. You don't want to have two going the same direction. So distinguish right hand, left hand, whichever one you feel comfortable with. And then you're going to attach the mitten portion to the top portion of the fingerless glove. So I just use a stitch marker to identify where I want it to go. It's about 1 inch down, and then I attached it with yarn needle. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please leave comments down below if you have any questions. There will be a written pattern over on Ahsel. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.